welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a first impressions foundation video and wear test between the old, very popular, and the brand new. Today I'm going to be testing out the brand new Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation and the extremely popular but a lot older YSL All Hours Liquid Foundation. So if you are interested in knowing what I think about these two products and how they compare with each other, then keep on watching. Okay, so let's just talk about the comparison between these two before I start applying them to my face. The Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation came out on the 4th of January this year. It is a very, very new foundation. It costs £31 in the UK and you get 30 millilitres worth of product. The YSL has been around for quite a while. It is a lot of beauty vloggers' favourite go-to foundation. It is the All Hours Liquid Foundation. They say that this lasts up to 24 hours. I have no idea who wears foundation for 24 hours, but they say it has up to 24 hours worth of staying power, whereas the Bobbi Brown only has up to 16 hours worth of staying power, which is plenty, absolutely plenty. So the YSL All Hours Liquid Foundation costs £35 in the UK and you get 25 mils of product. So you get a lot less for your money with the YSL than you do the Bobbi Brown. The Bobbi Brown comes in 30 shades, which I think is really, really good, whereas the YSL only comes in 22. Both have SPFs. The Bobbi Brown has an SPF of 15 and the YSL of 20. They are both extremely full coverage, but the YSL says that it's waterproof and transfer resistant, whereas there is nothing on the Bobbi Brown website to say that it has either of those properties. The YSL is a very matte finish, whereas the Bobbi Brown says that it's got a natural matte finish, and it also has oil controlling active ingredients in there. So if you have seriously oily skin, this may be amazing for you. The YSL is oil-free, however, and it does say that it reduces the appearance of pores. So let's have a look at these. They are both in glass bottles. They both look very robust and chunky. Both look very expensive and luxurious. There is nothing to complain about. I'm seriously not surprised. This is YSL and Bobbi Brown at the end of the day, and you get what you pay for. So both beautiful looking containers. I have never tried these products before. If you are a regular to my channel, you will know I like a more satin dewy finish to my foundation because I think it's more flattering on my skin. It's my personal preference, but I do know a lot of you really do like a matte foundation. So this review is for you. Let's see which one comes out on top, and I will try and be as impartial as physically possible. Okay, so let's get some of this on my skin. I'm going to do half and half, so the Bobbi Brown's going to go on this side of my face and the YSL is going to go on this side of my face. I have chosen the shade Beige 3. I did go into store and get colour matched on this. I may look a little bit funny because the two shades might be slightly different, but we'll see. This is Beige 3 anyway. Let's see how this pumps out on my skin. Now I have been told that this dries extremely quickly, so I'm not going to apply it to my skin first. I'm just going to apply it with the brush. So I've got a little bit on my skin and I'm going to apply it as normal with my Zoeva 103 buffing brush. So let's see how this goes on. So I can tell you already, it smells beautiful. So I've got one layer of the Bobbi Brown foundation on this side of my skin. You can still see a lot of my acne scarring through this. I would say it was medium coverage, definitely not full. So let's see if you can build it up to full coverage. I'm going to try and see if I can put a little bit more of this on. Okay, so first impressions, with the second coat you can still see some of the acne scarring on my skin. I have a few blemishes here which you can still see as plain as day, and usually I don't have to use a concealer with those with my normal foundation. It does feel very, very light on my skin though. It feels very cooling. It doesn't feel drying at all. So I'm going to try the YSL on the other side and see how we get on with that. Okay, so in the YSL All Hours, I have got the shade BD25. Hopefully this will be a match for this side, otherwise I'm going to go around really looking like I've got two foundations on. Okay, so I can see immediately that this is a lot runnier, more liquidy formula than the Bobbi Brown. It also looks really shiny. Oh my goodness. Oh. This smells like cucumber. Oh. It is so cooling on my skin. Oh, come on. Okay. So this has one coat on. I've hardly put any foundation on this side whatsoever, and it is so full coverage. It has covered up absolutely everything. The smell is divine. It smells like cucumbers. It's so cooling and refreshing on my skin. It's blended in so well. It hardly needed any work whatsoever, and my pores are non-existent. I've got to say the Bobbi Brown has done well in airbrushing my pores as well, but nowhere near as good as the YSL on this side. And also it's just not full coverage. It really isn't. It's also accentuated the fine lines and wrinkles that I've got around my eyes. Do you know what? This one's, the Bobbi Brown's gone a little bit patchy and sat in a little bit of dryness that I've got, but I have dryness on both sides of my face and the YSL hasn't done that, and my usual foundation doesn't usually do that. The Bobbi Brown has gone a lot more matte, I think, than the YSL. Even though the Bobbi Brown one says it's a natural matte finish, not a flat matte finish, I found that the YSL one is a lot more flattering on my skin, even though it's matte. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it, as you can see there. Now you've got to remember when you look at this that the Bobbi Brown side has got two coats on and the YSL has only got one. So I used a lot more foundation on the Bobbi Brown side than I did on the YSL side. Both feel really, really weightless, but I've got to say, because I had to use two coats of the Bobbi Brown foundation, that's feeling heavier, even though it says it's a weightless foundation, than the YSL. The really good thing is that they are both exactly the same shade, so big thumbs up to the people that work in Bobbi Brown and YSL for colour matching me perfectly. So let's see how the rest of my makeup applies once I have set this in place. I am going to set this with a setting powder. I would any foundation, even the foundations that say they don't need to be set. I like my foundations to stay in place all day, so I like to use a setting powder. So I am going to do that, and I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of my makeup applied. Okay, so welcome back. I have applied the rest of my makeup. Both sides applied beautifully. I have no complaints where either side goes. Both blended out really nicely, so absolutely fine, no preference where that is concerned. However, I am really, really surprised that the side that I applied the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless foundation was the tackiest side, considering that this took me quite a long time to blend out and also dried so quickly that it was hard to work with. This was the side with the tackiest finish, and it definitely needed setting powder. Now this may be because I had to apply 2 layers of this to get the coverage that I wanted, so please do bear that in mind. This is definitely not a bad foundation. However, the YSL dried down to like a powder finish, and my skin was just so smooth, and it still feels really cool with that. I can still smell the cucumber scent. If you don't like cucumber scent, do not buy the YSL. It's not overpowering, but it's beautiful. But I really like the cucumber scent. But it's so nice on your skin, and it's really cooling. Now, I'm not going to knock Bobbi Brown's products at all. I absolutely love Bobbi Brown's products. Their skincare is unbelievable. Their under eye cream is second to none. I have the lip tint on at the moment in Bare Melon. I absolutely love this, and I love all the other ones that they do as well. So they have some amazing products. Now, anyone that is a regular to my channel will have already seen the comparison between the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation and the Sheer Glow Foundation that I did not so long ago. I will link it below if you haven't seen that video. But ever since then, I have been wearing the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation on my skin absolutely every single day. This definitely still is matte, but it's got a slight glow to it, and I love that. I absolutely love that, and that is the same as the NARS foundation. However, the NARS foundation does feel heavier on my skin than the YSL. Let's see how it wears throughout the day. Fingers crossed, I am still in love with it by the end of the day, and we'll see which one lasts the longest. Remember, the Bobbi Brown says it will last up to 16 hours, and the YSL up to 24 hours. I am not staying up 24 hours to test that theory out. However, I will give it a really good run. So I'll see you all at the first check-in in a little while. Bye. Welcome to check-in number 1. It's been 7 hours since I first applied both foundations, and what can I say? They have both done really well. I've got a little bit of oiliness around here and around here. More so on the YSL side, if I'm being completely honest. I can't complain about any of it. After 7 hours, this is pretty good. Let me bring you in a little bit closer. If you can see here, it has creased a little bit in my smile line there. That's the Bobbi Brown side. And it's creased a little bit here. But again, don't forget, this side had 2 layers of the Bobbi Brown products on. If you're only applying 1 layer, then it might not crease. Usually if I had any oily patches, I would maybe get a tissue or some blotting paper and just blot that away, and I do think that this would hold up really well after being blotted. So there's really nothing to show you. Everything's really held up really well. Even my bronzer, contour, blush and highlighter are still on my face and looking just like I've just put this on. Usually that is the first thing to go, and then the foundation just drifts off my face. But it's still all there. I'm really impressed. Now, it doesn't say anything about the Bobbi Brown being transfer proof, but it hasn't transferred onto anything today, so it definitely is transfer proof. So I'm super impressed. I'll see you all in a little bit for the final check-in. Welcome to check-in number 2. This is the final check-in of the day. It's now 10.5 hours since I first applied the foundations to my face. I'm really impressed with how they have both got on. If you can see on the Bobbi Brown side, around my nose is really oily. It was oily in check-in number 1, and it has got considerably worse as the hours have gone on. Also on my cheek area, I don't know if you can see that, let me zoom you in. My pores are a lot more defined now than they were before, and also it's creased up a little bit on my forehead. On my chin area, there is no foundation left on the Bobbi Brown side and on the YSL side. This is my problem area. This is where I am really oily, and I have not found a foundation yet that is still there after 10.5 hours, so I'm not so bothered about that. If we move over to the YSL side, you can see that I do have some oiliness around my nose. That has got worse since check-in number 1, however it hasn't separated at all. All the foundation is still intact, even though it is slightly oily. There is hardly any creasing at all on this side, even though I do have a smile line, and my pores still look airbrushed. I am really impressed with how the YSL has held up. I found that both of these foundations are a very good base for the rest of my makeup, and the The makeup that I've applied to the top of both foundations has stayed on all day, and 10.5 hours I think is quite a long time for your makeup to be on your face without retouching it at all. Neither side of the foundations have transferred or rubbed off throughout the day, apart from on my really oily chin area. I am really impressed with both of these foundations and both of their staying power. I think that's really impressive. After 10.5 hours it still looks like this, but if I had to pick a winner, it would have to be the YSL. I know this is more expensive, I know you get less product. If the YSL had the same amount of product in as the Bobbi Brown, it would be £42, because you only get 25 mils in the YSL and it's £35. You get 30 mils in the Bobbi Brown and it's £31. If you got 30 mils of product in here, it will be £42. That's really expensive for a foundation, in my view. But to me, it's worth every single penny. I've absolutely loved having this on my face. I actually don't feel like I've got any foundation on whatsoever. And considering the amount of product that I had to use to get super full coverage, I think this is worth it. I had to put 2 layers of this on. I don't have time for that every single morning. It's a lovely foundation. It has worn really well. It's done a really good job, but I find that this one is more flattering on my skin and it feels completely weightless. It's got to be the YSL. So this is just my personal opinion, it's my personal preference. I prefer the YSL. If you hate the YSL, or if you don't get on with it, or you really love it, please do comment below. The same with the Bobbi Brown. If you've tried it already and you think this is the best foundation ever, please do comment below. Also, I am really intrigued to find out your views on these products. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.